Have you just received your order of drip irrigation supplies and you're ready to get started, but you're not quite sure what to do with this tightly rolled coil of tubing? Or maybe you've tried drip irrigation in the past and you want to avoid the bird nest of tangle that can happen to your tubing when installing it. Today, I'm going to teach you some tips and tricks to make unrolling and installing your tubing easy. I'll also show you the difference between dimples and kinks and how to get the dimples out of your tubing with only a minimum of effort. One of the great things about tubing is that it is so easy to transport. This 1,000-foot coil of tubing could easily fit into a sedan. Trying to fit 1,000 feet of PVC pipe into a sedan would be inconceivable. Though easy to transport, the idea of unrolling this and installing it could make even the most seasoned DIYer take pause. Fortunately, it's much easier than you'd imagine when looking at these tightly rolled coils of tubing. And the method we'll show you to make it easier also has the benefit of helping to remove the dimples. The dimples are unfortunately unavoidable. To be able to be reasonably transported and shipped, these have to be coiled and banded down, which is going to cause dimpling. However, it should not cause kinking. There is a difference between a kink and a dimple. A dimple is generally no problem. It might work itself out just from the heat of the sun. A kink can compromise the structural integrity of the tubing and is a problem. A dimple is simply an indentation, where a kink is a deep crease, like imagine kinking your garden hose and the crease it causes. First, take your tubing out near where you'd like to install it and place it in direct sunlight. Heat makes the tubing relax significantly. And as it does, it will start to come uncoiled by itself. At the same time, the dimples will become smaller and smaller, and some will disappear entirely. When the tubing is soft and pliable like this, it becomes much easier to install. This does mean doing your installation during the heat of the day, so be careful to stay very hydrated. After placing the tubing in direct sunlight, I'm going to cut the bands on the tubing to allow it some room to relax. Now I'm going to leave the tubing here for a while and then come back and check on it. Now that our tubing has been in the sun for a bit, let's take a look. Notice how the majority of the dimples have worked themselves out simply from the expanding tubing from the heat. Those few that remain will come out when we install the tubing. The two most common ways we see to install tubing is to roll it on your hand, kind of like a wheel, laying it down and staking as you go. Notice how, as I go, that I'm stabilizing the coil of tubing with my arm. This helps prevent bird nesting. The other is to slowly uncoil it, turning your coils into straight runs where you need them and staking them down as you go. Both methods are served well by heating up your tubing in the sun. That'll go a long way to help preventing any birds nesting. Now we're going to go back and stake our tubing every few feet. That can be anywhere from 2 to 10 feet, depending on local conditions and the pliability of your tubing. Staking it in place makes it much easier to complete the install and will hold it in place the first time you pressurize. If you ever do get any actual kinks in your tubing, or if you have damaged tubing, it's a very easy fix. All you need to do is simply cut the damaged portion out with a pair of scissors or tubing cutters, and then splice the two sections together with a repair coupling. Now that you know these simple tricks to make installing your tubing easier and getting the dimples worked out, the install for your own drip irrigation project will go as smooth as can be.